DraftKings. Really looking forward to getting right into it here. And also a lot of betting action for me. I have 6 total bets for this card. We're going to get into all of them right now. Going to be doing fight by fight as always. Ask your questions, related to the fights I'm going over currently. And some of these fights I'm going to kind of skim through. Some fights I don't really have too much interest in. And on a 15-fight slate, we are going to want to target the fights that, really matter and the fights that are going to finish. So with that said, if you guys can give this video a like, also subscribe if you haven't yet, would really appreciate that. Almost to 5,000 subscribers. I think I need like 250 more, something like that. So any subscribe helps. Trying to reach that 5,000 subscriber goal by UFC 252. So right now we are going to get into the first fight of the night. We have Nathaniel Wood versus John Castaneda. And this is a parlay week. It really is a parlay week. Right now I have the only bet that I have tracked for a parlay is a 3-leg plus money, plus 100 parlay that I'm very confident in. I like to play it safe when I do my parlays, but I will have some parlays that are like 6 legs that I like, but they're not going to be tracked. So the one that is tracked, it is plus 100, and I'll get to that in a second. But Nathaniel Wood, I like him to win this fight. I do think he is a parlay piece and somebody I would have in a parlay there. Watching tape on John Castaneda, this guy's very tough, but I think what separates these two a lot is the ground game. And I think Wood can really take this guy down, grind on him, even find a submission here. The only way I see Castaneda winning this fight is, of course, knocking out Wood. And I'm not so sure that happens. I know Wood has been knocked out twice. He's been submitted twice, so his durability is really an issue. So that's why I don't have him in my track parlay. But if I was doing like a 6-fighter parlay, I'd be comfortable with him there. Castaneda has finished 35% of his fights by knockout there. So I do like Wood to win this fight as long as he fights smart and doesn't really get into a brawl with Castaneda. And even then, I do think he's the better striker as well. But the line is coming down a little bit. Wood was like minus 400 something, minus 425, I think, yesterday. Now he's minus 380. So there is some money coming on Castaneda, and I can understand that. Lots of durability questions with Wood, but I just don't think Castaneda is the guy to really expose that there. So plus 160 for Wood by sub. Don't really love that because I think he can possibly win by decision as well. And as for DraftKings, Wood is probably my second favorite play in that 9,000 range. We'll get to my first in a second, and I'm sure everybody knows who my first favorite play is on DraftKings in that 9K range. But I don't mind Wood on DraftKings at 9,500. Honestly, probably rather go up and get Chemiya at 9,800, but he's a fine play. As for Castaneda, I don't mind a couple shots on DraftKings, 6,700. If he does get a knockout, that's huge. So I do not mind maybe some shots on Castaneda, but I really don't see him winning. So I got Nathaniel Wood probably by decision or even a submission is definitely not out of the question. Castaneda has never been submitted, but he also has never fought somebody with the submission skills of Wood. So I like Wood quite a bit and to win that fight. Getting into some questions here. What's up, Jason? Wood inside the distance. I like the submission here. Yeah, I don't mind it, but I just think that there is a possibility that he can, he can get a decision win. He can even get a knockout win. So I don't know. Don't hate the plus one. What is it? Plus 160 for submission. I don't hate it. Yeah, Sexy Mexi has been finished by strikes, I believe, once. Think first fight is a finish either way. Yeah, I can definitely see it being a finish, but I can also see where Wood does take his time and tries to rebound from his last loss. Takes it easy and tries to just to win the fight and not really finish it. What Wood's decision points for on DraftKings? If you got a decision, I'm assuming there's probably some strikes in there. There's some takedowns, advances. I think he can definitely put up a 100 piece, but we'll get into in a second. But I think Chemiya is going to probably score more than Wood most likely, and he's only 300 more. So I will have some Wood on DraftKings, but right now I'm at about like 20 to 25% just because I'd rather go up and get Chemiya. Let's see here. I got Wood by decision and Chemiya fight making it to the second round in a parlay. But yeah, as for a parlay for Wood, like I said, I'm probably going to do I have a 6-legger that I like. I haven't played it yet, but I'll be playing it tomorrow. I'll let you guys know. And Wood will probably be in that 6-leg parlay there. All right, so we'll get into the next fight here. And these first couple fights, I really don't have much interest in on DraftKings. And just like last week, we are going to want to target the fights that are going to score well, the fights that are going to finish. And there aren't many on here. So on a 15-fight slate, it's kind of easy to see what fights you want to target and what fights you just want to stay away from. And this right here is kind of a fight I want to stay away from. Ramazan Ameeb versus Nicholas Stolze. I like Stolze striking, and I think if this is purely like a striking fight, Stolze could win, but that's just not going to happen with Ameeb. Stolze is someone who does clinch up in a lot of his fights, and that's just not a great game plan against someone in Ameeb. And I do think Ameeb can get some takedowns here and there, just a lot of land praying. Ameeb doesn't really do much. He does not really score well on DraftKings. So 9,400, honestly, you'd rather play Wood. You'd rather play Chemiya. I'm not going to have much Ameeb at all. Maybe he finds a submission. Stolze has never been finished, but as for this fight, it's pretty much a pass for me. I'm not really interested in the dog as well. As for a parlay piece at -385, I don't hate it. But other than that, not too much interest in this fight. Decision for Ameeb is -165. That's a pretty good price because he's not a finisher. He's more of a grind you out type of guy. He's not looking for the finish. So -165 is not bad at all. But other than that, not too much interest. So probably not going to spend too much time on this fight here. Let's see here. Okay. Parlay Wood around 1, 2, and 3 with Jai Herbert. Separate. Malcolm ruined my parlay. LOL, listen to you from now on. Other than that, just not a fight you guys are probably going to want. If you want to be different, maybe play Ameeb, but I just don't really see, the benefit you're going to get there unless he finds a submission, which, probably not going to happen. So next we got another fight that I have absolutely zero interest in from a betting perspective and a DraftKings perspective. 8,400 for Kansai and 7,800 for Correa. I think this fight's going to play out very close. I don't know. I'm picking Kansai to win this fight, but I'm not as confident as other people are. I see a lot of bets on Pandy Kansai here, and I'm not too sure about that. I think Correa could possibly make this an ugly fight, and I just see split decision written all over this, so I'm not going to bet it either way. And as for DraftKings, it's probably a full-out fade for me. And usually when I fade a fight, I have like 3%, but this week on a 15-fight slate might lower that to like 1% in 150 lineups because really don't have enough lineups to be going 3% on the fights I don't really like. So this is probably going to be like a 1% kind of lineup here. I don't really see Kansai doing enough to get on the optimal lineup. Maybe she scores like 80, 85 points with volume. But other than that, just don't have any interest in this fight whatsoever. If I had to bet it, if I was forced to bet it, I guess I'd bet Kansai, but I'm just not too confident in that. I think this fight's going to be very ugly, sloppy, and just don't really have the confidence other people do in Kansai there. You take in prop bet Aspinall by submission. We'll get into that in a second, but I have him at plus 1,000, so people must be betting that right now. So let's see here. Parlay fight goes to decision. Yep, I don't hate that. You can parlay the fight goes to decision. I'm assuming it's like -350 something. So yeah, that's not a bad parlay piece as well. And of course, at the end of the video, I'll go over my favorite parlay pieces because, like I said, this is a parlay card. Let's see here. What do you think the chances of a finish on this one? Not too likely whatsoever. Both these girls are not finishers. If there was a finish, I don't even know who it would be. I guess Kansai, but probably not going to happen. Betcha makes it a dogfight. Yes, she does. She makes pretty much every fight she's in a dogfight. So that's why I really don't like this from either side, because I can definitely see her, making this very sloppy, ugly fight, and the judges giving it to Betch Correa. So I don't know. Having trouble between Craig and Antagoulov. We'll get to that pretty soon, and that's a fight I'm really looking forward to. If Chimaev loses, everybody's parlays are done. Pretty much, we'll get to that later, but I have a nice parlay piece with that fight, and you guys think it's pretty interesting. But we will get into the next fight here. Still don't have a bet for this fight yet, for this card yet, and I have 6 bets. So we're going to be running into one in a couple fights here. So Tanner Bozer versus Rafael Passova. First of all, Passova has like a 30-pound weight advantage here on Bozer. And honestly, I think that benefits Bozer. He's going to be the faster fighter. He throws more volume. As long as he does not get knocked out, I think he wins. I don't mind the fight goes to decision. I don't have the odds up here, but I'm assuming it's like minus 135, somewhere around there. I don't mind the fight goes to decision. Haven't bet it, but I don't hate that because Bozer's not really a finisher. And I know there's a lot of recency bias with him finishing Philip Linz. Passova's a pretty tough dude. Passova has never been knocked out. As for the fight, I think Bozer's a pretty decent parlay piece at minus 275, although there is some questions with him making a short turnaround. But other than that, I like him to win as long as his chin holds up. And Bozer has a very, very good chin. He has been knocked out once, but that was like 5-6 years ago in the first like 8 seconds. So kind of fluky there. Other than that, his chin's very good. I like Bozer to win this fight. As for DraftKings, not going to have much of it either way. If I was to play it on DraftKings, probably more Passova because it is heavyweight. And really anything can happen. And there is a short turnaround for Bozer. So maybe Passova does get a knockout. And at 7,300, obviously it's going to be optimal lineup there. And he does have some power as well. So I like Bozer to win this one. But as for a betting perspective, probably a pass for me. And unless, I'm doing like a 6-7 leg parlay, then I'll put Bozer in it. I'm pretty comfortable with that. Bozer by decision, minus 130 is something I like there. That's a decent odds for him to go to decision because odds are he probably is going to go to decision. And I think Passova is going to be pretty live in that first round until he starts to slow down. But other than that, Passova in some DraftKings lineups, not too much. And Bozer in some DraftKings lineups, but not too much. So these first 4 fights, I'm not too interested in at all. Lots of my action is coming later down the card. And like I said, on a 15-fight slate, you guys are going to want to target the fights that are going to score high. And I just don't see it in these first 4 fights besides maybe Nathaniel Wood. Maybe Bozer gets a late finish, racks up some volume. I can see it, but it's probably not likely there. Bozer versus Passova is dog or pass. Both guys are canny. I actually don't mind Bozer. I think he's pretty decent, but yeah, not too high level there. Chemiya too expensive to add to a parlay. You are correct right there. Overall, it's a tough card. It's a tough card for underdogs. I picked, I think, 2 or 3 underdogs to win, and I can see some other underdogs winning as well. But this is mostly a very favorite heavy card. You should live stream while watching the fight so we get your reaction each fight. I wouldn't mind doing that in the future. That sounds like a pretty good idea there. When are you going to do live fight commentary? Like I said, hopefully in the future, that'd be fun. I think most of the fighters that have had super quick turnarounds have lost. I've heard that as well. And I think Bozer, he didn't look bad on the scales. He looked like just like he did the last fight. So I'm not too worried about that. And of course, Chemiya taking a quick turnaround. I think both of them should win, but tread lightly, I guess, in a parlay because, that quick turnaround. Hit the like button real quick. Thank you. If you guys can hit the like button, that would really help me out a lot. Are you going to do a parlay? Yes, I'm going to do a parlay. I have one already tracked, and it is a 3-leg plus 100 parlay I'm pretty comfortable with. And then I will go over my favorite parlay pieces at the end here. After seeing Collier on the scale, I'm all over Aspinall, and we will get into that fight really soon. I'm really excited to talk about that one there. Other than that, we will get into this next fight. And let's see. Yeah, still don't have a bet yet. So all of my action is going to be coming later in the card. Bozer Evilev versus Mike Grundy. And I see everybody's betting Mike Grundy. Everybody is betting Mike Grundy in it. I don't really see it. I mean, this is going to be a closest fight. I believe both their wrestling is going to cancel out. But after watching tape, I'm not really impressed with Mike Grundy's striking. He's pretty low output. He's kind of awkward on the feet. And Evilev's someone who's going to bring a lot of volume, probably almost double up Grundy's strikes in this fight. So what I see happening is unless Grundy can get him down, which maybe he can, because I do think he's going to be probably the bigger fighter on this fight, very slightly. I mean, they have the same height, they have the same reach pretty much, but I think he's going to be the overall bigger fighter. But it's just hard to see Grundy taking him down and really controlling Evilev there. So this fight could play out close. I'm not looking to bet Grundy. I think there's a lot of recency bias that Grundy knocked out Narimani, and that Grundy's some kind of power puncher. He only has 1 knockout in like 13 fights, so he's more of had submissions on his record. We'll check it out right now. Let's see. So Grundy has an 8% knockout rate and a 67% submission rate. Don't really see him submitting Evilev there. So I think this is going to play out, like I said, kind of close. Evilev just throwing the more volume and winning it that way. I am looking to bet Evilev if the line comes down a little bit more. And it's really weird that everybody's betting Grundy and the line staying kind of around the minus 185, minus 200 range. So maybe it'll come down to like minus 160 by fight time, and that's when I'll hop on there. But other than that, it's a pass because this honestly probably is going to play out close. Evilev is not really a dangerous guy. He's not really a power puncher. He's more of a volume guy. I don't see him hurting Grundy. Either way, I like the fight goes to decision. Probably like minus 220, minus 230. Maybe throw that in a parlay. But other than that, this is probably a pass fight. But on DraftKings, I do have some interest. Grundy is 7,100. Like I said, the line should probably be a little bit wider. But, 7,100 for Grundy in a fight that, stylistically, it's going to be pretty close. Both these guys are going to cancel each other's wrestling out, I believe. So maybe Grundy does hurt Evilev. I don't really see it happening, but maybe he does. Grundy does have power. He's just not a knockout guy. And Evilev has a chin on him. So, I don't see it, but maybe Grundy squeaks out a very close decision. I can see that. Maybe Grundy's able to hold Evilev against the cage and maybe take him down a few times. Not convinced he's going to do that, but maybe he does. And for 7,100, even a win, I'll definitely take that because, I don't think he's going to finish him. But in a win, maybe he does score 70, 75. And on a card where there's not many underdogs, I don't hate the 7,100 for Grundy. As for Evilev, I think there's a lot better options. He's not going to finish Grundy. Grundy has never been knocked out. Grundy's been submitted once. Evilev does not have power. He's more of a volume guy, like I said. So Evilev at 9,100, probably going to pass. He doesn't really score much. And this is probably his toughest matchup yet. I know the Barzola fight played out pretty close, but I can see this being even closer than that even. So I'm going to pick Evilev to win. Not going to bet at either side unless the line gets a little bit closer. And as for DraftKings, probably some Grundy on DraftKings. Macy Barber still in hiding after that. Yeah, we'll get into it in a second, but I remember a couple minus 1,000 favorites losing, so that's why I'm kind of hesitant about putting a minus 1,000 favorite in a parlay. Smith comes to mind, Barber comes to mind. Evilev Grundy, I hope it's fight of the night. It could be because they're going to probably stand with each other and bang the whole time. I think a lot of volume is going to be thrown. Their chins are definitely going to be tested there. Are we all going to ignore the fact that Gustafson is 240 pounds of pure anger and hatred from his Jones losses and ready to return? We'll get you that in a second, but yeah, Gustafson looked good on the scales there. Aspinall line will be minus 300 by tomorrow. Yeah, he probably will be. I'm sticking with Evilev. Yeah, me too. Are you fading Evilev and Ameeb in DraftKings? I just don't think either of them score high enough for the 9,000 price tag. Yes, I'm going to be fading them both. Maybe Ameeb sneaks out a submission or something, but other than that, don't really see a reason for playing him. Will this video be available after the live stream? Yes, it will. And also, I'm looking to start doing a video Saturday going over pretty much what I'm doing now, just more in a condensed setting, just going over the best bets for each fight and going over some of my bets as well on a Saturday. Looking to do that in the near future there. But let's get to the next fight here because this fight is something I have quite a bit of interest in here. Tom Aspinall versus Jay Collier. If you guys have not watched the weigh-ins, go do that. Lots of question marks with both sides of this fight, but a lot of those question marks have been answered for me. And this is where I have my first bet and my first parlay piece here. And it is Tom Aspinall as my first parlay piece of my 3-leg plus money parlay at minus 265. And then I also bet Tom Aspinall inside the distance at minus 115. So those are got some action on this fight, and I'll tell you why. So before I even saw the weigh-ins, I liked Aspinall to win this fight. I watched tape on Collier. He's been knocked out twice. He doesn't have the best cardio, and that was at 185. That was at 205. And now he's coming up to heavyweight. So if you guys have not seen the weigh-ins, this guy looked like he was, he looked like he hasn't trained in a couple of years. Like, it was very bad. He came at 264. He just looked awful. He didn't take his shirt off on the scale, and I don't know. Like that is very weird to me. Like I saw an interview with him and he said that he's ready to go. He's ready. He's put a lot of hard work in. And then I saw him on the scales and no, there was not much hard work there at all. So they stood up to each other in the face-offs, and Aspinall was huge. He was huge in a good way. He was big. He's 6'5". He's huge. And then Jay Collier, he looked small. He looked out of shape. And I don't know how Collier is going to even get off the stool after the first round. Like he looked like he hadn't trained, and I haven't seen something that bad and probably ever. Like that was bad. That was bad news. So I picked Aspinall. I bet Aspinall at minus 115 inside the distance, and I think there's a lot of value on that line. It is now minus 125. I think that'll only get wider there. And then also he's the first piece of my parlay, of my 3-leg parlay there. So I'm pretty confident in this. And honestly, Aspinall was a core play of mine before I saw the weigh-ins on DraftKings at 8,800 because it is a heavyweight fight, and I think someone's getting finished. He's even more of a core play now at 8,800. And I would say that Collier can come in here and get a knockout, but it doesn't look like he has much power. And that was at 185. That was at 205. Will his power translate up to heavyweight? The power that he had? Probably not. So, I'm all over Aspinall. Honestly, he's probably my second or third favorite play on DraftKings, and he's 8,800. I'd rather play him than Ameeb. I'd rather play him than Evilev. I'd rather play him than a lot of these guys in the 9,000s, and we're getting him at a discount at 8,800. So honestly, I'd be quite shocked if Collier came in here and won the fight, because I don't think he has the gas tank to win a decision. I think it's going to have to be a knockout, and Aspinall's a legit heavyweight, and I just don't think Collier has the power. Maybe in the first minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, but after that, I don't really see him doing much of anything. And Aspinall was a finisher. I believe he's finished 100% of his fights as well. So minus 115, I'm fairly confident in that play. And then I have him in a parlay as well. So what do you guys think of, what do you guys think of Collier on the scales? Do you think Aspinall will have cardio for 3 rounds? Yeah, I think I'll have better cardio than Collier by far. But I think his cardio will be fine. Watch Collier be the new Sean Jordan and head kick Tommy Boy. Let's see here. Collier and I have a lot in common. We both spent COVID eating. Yeah, it looked like he did. It looked like he didn't train much. And Aspinall, someone who's training with, Darren Till, Grundy. So Aspinall, I don't think he's ever been in a legit fight camp. So even that. Let's see here. Aspinall gasses out after the first round. I think if anybody gasses out, it's probably going to be Collier. I'm laying the juice with Aspinall. Collier looked like doughy. Yeah, don't mind it in a parlay at all. I did it myself, and then that inside the distance line, like how can Collier survive 3 rounds? So with that, the minus 115, I think that's a decent line there. I put 1.5 units on that. I might even add more than that. Collier checking in from the country buffet here. Sure looked like it. Okay, so this is something, glad you mentioned that. That's something I like there, plus 400 submission, because Aspinall is a BJJ black belt, believe it or not. And maybe he hurts Collier, or maybe Collier is so tired that he does tap. So that can definitely happen there. So plus 1,400, if you can get at plus 1,400 on 5 dimes, I have it at plus 1,000. I don't hate that at all. Do you win money every time you do these bets? I've won money the past 4 events, so I've been pretty hot. The last event was my, I've only won a couple units on the last event, but before that, I had some very good events there. So hopefully another good event here, because I have a ton of bets. I have 6 on this card. I might add another one there. Collier looked like the kid in gym class who didn't want to play. Okay. Come on. Maybe Collier's in here right now, guys. Come on. No, just kidding. But Collier might surprise everyone. I don't know. I'd be very surprised. 8,800 isn't bad. Yeah, it's not at all. What's up, Boston Nick? And I forgot to mention, I talk to Mo Scream if you guys know who that is, and I am most likely going to be joining the Odds HQ live stream on Tuesday night. I'm really looking forward to that. Hopefully they keep me on there for the near future. So going to be talking about a lot of my bets on there, just breaking the card down. Lots of sharp guys in there. So really looking forward to doing that on Tuesday. So, oh, yep, there it is. I heard you might be joining our Tuesday show. Yep, talk to Mo Scream and probably going to be joining that and really looking forward to that. How much do you make betting these? I post all my bets on Twitter, and I will be doing that tomorrow as well. Do you win money on DraftKings too? Like I said, I post it on Twitter. But yeah, I have been pretty successful in DraftKings. MMA is my #1 sport, the sport I've won the most money in. Agreed. Yeah, let's make some money. This is the card to do it. I mean, the 15 fights, I picked out my favorite spots in this card. I have 6 bets I'm fairly confident in. And Clint is my boy. Yeah, Clint from the Die Hard MMA podcast. I've seen he has been killing it, like hitting huge underdogs. Like, congrats to him. Need some more posts on Patreon. I'm going to be posting my article on Patreon tonight, and I'm going to be posting my premium breakdown video on Patreon tonight as well. All right. All right, and other than that, we will get into the next fight. So that is a fight where I'm going to have a lot of ownership on the Aspinall Collier fight. I'm going to have a ton of ownership on Aspinall. And as for Collier, I will be playing some because this is heavyweight. If he is a heavyweight or not, I mean, obviously he looks like a heavyweight, but not a legit heavyweight. So maybe he does come in here and clip Aspinall. Aspinall is a little bit untested, but he should get it done. So Nicholas Dalby versus Jesse Ronson, a fight I'm not too interested in from a betting perspective or a DraftKings perspective here. If I had to play on DraftKings, probably Ronson, because I do see this fight playing out kind of close. But the pick is Dalby. I think you can wear on Ronson, put him up against the cage, maybe take him down. But this fight is probably going to play out a little bit closer than the line indicates here. As for a parlay piece, I probably wouldn't be comfortable putting Dalby into a parlay because I do think it could possibly be a split decision. Ronson, if you guys don't remember, a couple of years ago, he was in the UFC and he lost 3 fights in a row, all by split decision. So I see something kind of happening like that. As for DraftKings, if Ronson wins, he probably won't score well, but, you know, it's an underdog at 7,000. So, I mean, it's worth a shot. So I will have some Ronson for that reason. And as for Dalby, don't really see him getting a finish, plus 190. Don't really see Ronson getting – Ronson's been finished twice by strikes. I just rather go elsewhere. So probably going to be very low owned on Dalby. And then as for Ronson, I'll play a couple. But other than that, not too interested in this fight as a whole. If you guys want to parlay Dalby, I don't hate it, but I do think you'll be sweating that fight just a little bit. Let's see here. Fight goes to decision. Yeah, I like that. What is it? Probably like minus 150, minus 140, something like that. Don't hate it. Let's see here. Do you see an over 1.5 or 2.5 here? Yeah, most likely there. Appreciate it, Chad. We will see it. We'll see it on Saturday. One more week until we see the GOAT, Edmund Shabazian. GOAT Edmund's been talking about Shabazian, hyping him up. So I'm really expecting him to win, man. And I will be probably putting some money on him. So hopefully your boy does win there. Yeah, Dalby's probably pretty pricey for DFS. I wouldn't probably touch that there. Dalby by decision, free money. Let's check it out. Plus 105. I don't hate that. Let's see. My Twitter is DFS_numbers. Make sure you guys follow me. Come hang out, talk fights with me. I talk fights all day on fight day. I try to post, stuff throughout the week as well. Been very busy with this 15-fight slate. Those haven't been able to be as active, but come talk some fights. I'm going to be posting my bets tomorrow as well, so you guys can check all those out. I'll be going over some parlay pieces at the end there. Need parlay picks on Patreon, week 3 of asking. Okay, I'll remember to post my bets on the article there so you guys can see it. All right. So this fight I'm not too interested in on, and we are at 30 minutes, so kind of got to go through these a little bit quicker. I wanted to be around an hour 10 here. Francisco Trinaldo versus Jai Herbert, and this is my second straight bet of the night. I have 1.5 units on Herbert at -150 on at +150, and the line is coming down, and Herbert is now +115. So I did, the line is moving a little bit closer towards a pick'em. Trinaldo, he missed weight, right? He missed weight by 4 pounds. Yeah, he missed weight by 4 pounds. So that was the first time in Trinaldo's career where he missed weight. So I'm questioning, is the age coming up, catching up to him? Is he ready for this fight? Lots of question marks with that right there. And Herbert is someone who's going to probably double, maybe triple the volume of Trinaldo. So I like this underdog shot. Like I said, I got it at +150. I love those odds because I do think this fight should, Trinaldo should be a favorite. He has the experience there. He's the more tested fighter, but just watching tape, I'm more impressed with Herbert with his volume, the faster fighter. And looking at them, during the face-offs, Herbert was the bigger fighter by a decent margin, and he has like a 6-7 inch reach as well. So what I am worried about is Trinaldo taking him down, and that would be bad news, but that's just not something Trinaldo does. Trinaldo averages like 1 takedown per 50 minutes, so hopefully he comes in here not trying to take Herbert down, because then I'd be very worried. And I don't think Trinaldo has the gas tank to do that even. So I like Herbert. Like I said, I got him at +150. The line is now +115. I still don't hate that. But yeah, I like Herbert to win this fight. It could be close. Most of Trinaldo's fights are close. If somebody does get finished, honestly, it's probably going to be Herbert. Trinaldo has never been knocked out in like 40 fights. So Herbert does hit very hard, though. So maybe he does put some volume on him and hurts Trinaldo. But I got Herbert by decision at 7,700 on a card where there's not many underdogs. I don't hate that, because even with volume, maybe he scores like 77, 80 points. And that could be enough to get in the winning lineup, especially if you're going up and getting guys like Chemiya. You are going to need some underdogs. Herbert +195 by decision. Don't hate that. And Trinaldo +555 by submission. I'm hoping for my bet's sake that Trinaldo doesn't come in here trying to clinch up Herbert and trying to take him down. But it's just not something I've seen him do too much, so I'm not overly worried about it. But I like Herbert here. Yeah, I think it's like a 7-inch reach advantage, something like that. Yeah, I like him in DK as well. Lil Nog by KO. We'll get to that in a second. Herbert has a sneaky submission game, though, and Trinaldo has been caught in subs before. That is true. Age catches up to everyone, and he came in 4 pounds overweight the first time in his career. I don't know. I like Herbert. Let's see here. Is Herbert parlayable? A lot of people like to parlay these small favorites and even parlay underdogs. I'm not that type of guy, but I'd probably say no. I'd rather play him straight at those odds. +115, you might as well just play him straight there. Hit me up on your show, after your show, for real, Chad, on Facebook Messenger. Just comment below on the actual video, and I'll try to remember that. Chemiya definitely on the optimal. We'll get to that fight next fight, actually. Fighters that have missed weight have lost 10 of the last 11. I don't know if that's true, but if that's true, then yeah. I mean, I think Herbert's probably going to win this fight as long as he does not get taken down, as long as he does not get caught in something. And exactly, Trinaldo does not have the cardio to grapple. So maybe he does grapple that first round, but after that, Herbert can win the next 2. So yeah, I don't hate that at all. I like the bet quite a bit. So now we're going to get into, a fight I'm really looking to see here. Khamzat Chimaev versus Rhys McKee. And Chimaev, what did he score on DraftKings last time? Like 111, 108, something like that. Minus 1,200. So this is my next parlay piece here for my 3-leg +100 parlay. And, there's a couple different routes you could go, but I wanted to take the safest route. I'm a guy that, I want to play it safe. I'm doing this for the long run. I'm not trying to make thousands a week. I know a lot of people like doing that, but I want to make, a couple hundred a week. So I took the safest route and I parlayed along with Aspinall. The -565 fight doesn't go to decision. And I like that a lot because, if McKee comes out here and maybe catches Chimaev in a submission somehow or in a knockout, -565, I think that's safe enough to parlay there. You could go Chimaev -395, but I was still able to get plus money with that -565, and that's really why I did it there. I want to be as safe as possible. I see this fight finishing, whether it's Chemiya getting a submission, whether it's Chemiya getting a knockout, hopefully in the first round for DraftKings' sake. But, you know, if Chemiya slips on a banana peel, gets injured, you know, I'm prepared for the minus 565 there in a parlay. So, like I said, it is plus money. I didn't want to take the risk. I took the extra, you know, the extra juice there. So don't hate the parlaying the minus 565. I even don't hate parlaying the minus 395, but it really didn't make too much of a difference in my bet, so I took the safer option there. As for parlaying the minus 1200 straight, don't do that. It doesn't do much to your parlay. And as for maybe a straight bet on the Chemiya by submission, don't do that because he could get a knockout. Chemiya by knockout plus 170, don't do that. He could get a submission. Just don't really see too much value in that. Plus 455 by decision. I mean, it's worth a shot, I guess, but I really hope he does finish this fight. So I did take the minus 565 for the second leg of my parlay there. As for DraftKings, I love Chemiya at 9,800. I'm really hoping that, you know, people look at the price and it scares people off. And I've seen people talking about fading Chemiya, hoping he doesn't hit value. And I really don't see any way he doesn't hit value here unless, like, he gets caught in a submission or gets knocked out, which, you know, very unlikely there. So 9,800. I'm thinking he's going to get done first round, maybe early second round, rack up lots of takedowns, maybe just one takedown, lots of ground and pound. The problem is Fight Metric does not like counting ground strikes, no matter what they are. Like they gave Gordon like 40 strikes, you know, a couple fights ago, and when he landed like 120 strikes, something like that. So kind of worried about that. But other than that, I think there's, you know, first round upside here. I think he should smash in this spot. Looking at the size advantage, I thought it would be a lot bigger. McKee, you know, was just as tall as him, but I see McKee taken down by a lot of low-level fighters. And other than that, I like Chemiya to win this fight. I like him on DraftKings. I have about 50% Chemiya here. And the thing is, I have 50% because if some of these underdogs don't win, and I find it hard to, you know, think that a couple underdogs can't win on a 15-fight card, but if, say, one underdog wins, or two underdog who wins and no underdogs win under 7,600, he's not probably going to be optimal. But I just have a feeling that, you know, a couple of these underdogs will win. And if they do win, I'll tell you guys right now, Chemiya has a very, very good chance to be on the optimal lineup. So I have 50%. If there were some more underdogs that I thought would win, I'd probably be closer to, you know, 75%. But I like 50% there. He probably will be kind of high owned, maybe like 50% owned. So I'll probably be around the field with that ownership there. But yeah, I like Chemiya to win this fight. I just don't see how McKee is going to stop the takedowns. And hopefully he racks up a lot of ground strikes. Hopefully Fight Metric counts them. And I'm expecting a score of like 120 if they count everything. So count all his advances, please. Count his ground strikes, and he will score a ton. But 9,800, hopefully that lowers his ownership a little bit. But he's a smash play. Like the 9K range, like, is pretty ugly this week. I mean, besides Wood, but if you're playing Wood, you might as well go up and get Chemiya. So Chemiya is somebody I love in DraftKings. So the first leg of the three-piece parlay, was it Aspinall to win by decision or Aspinall to win in the first round? It was Aspinall straight at minus 265, and then I parlayed, like I said, the Chemiya fight does not go to decision. In a card full decision, I think there's no way he doesn't meet the value. I see him hitting the 95. I think his floor is like 98 points. I think that's his floor. His floor is maybe getting a takedown, getting an advance, getting a submission. I think that's the worst possible scenario. So when it's the worst possible scenario, you know, just I think the ceiling is huge. And on a card where there aren't going to be many finishes and a lot of low scoring, I think he's pretty much going to be a must-have if some of these underdogs do pull it off. Who are the best live dogs? So far, we talked about Herbert. Other than that, I don't hate Ronson on DraftKings. I don't hate Grundy on DraftKings. Like Brandon said, Passova, a heavyweight, he's going to be live in that first round, does have some power. And other than that, we will get to the next fight there. But like I said, a lot of interest on Chemiya, and for McKee on DraftKings, 6,400. I will have him in some lineups because if he does somehow pull it off, like, you can make any lineup you want with McKee. So I'll have a couple lineups with McKee, but not much. So Alex Oliveira versus Peter Sabatta. And this is a fight where I think it's going to be very sneaky to target it. Oliveira is 8,700. Peter Sabatta is 7,500. We've seen Oliveira submitted 3 times. Sabatta's taken a couple of years off, said he's been working on his striking, and he's going to need that there. Oliveira is a finisher. Oliveira has finished 81% of his fights. Sabatta has finished 88% of his fights. And, Sabatta's been knocked out twice. I do see a path to victory where either Oliveira gets a knockout, and it will probably be early in that first round if he does. So I do have some interest in him on DraftKings for that reason. And then I can also see Sabatta maybe grinding out a decision or even getting a submission as well. So I am picking Sabatta to win. I think this fight will be razor thin and close. Not going to bet this one. I see a ton of people betting Sabatta. I don't hate that bet. The line is closing in a little bit. Would have liked to bet it, a while ago when Oliveira was like minus 170, something like that. But probably going to stay away from here. But a lot of people taking the underdog shot. I don't hate it because I do think this will be close as long as Sabatta's chin holds up. And I do think it does. But as for DraftKings, going to be playing both sides here because Oliveira has that first round knockout upside. And because I think Sabatta can really grind out Oliveira. If he gets a takedown, I think the submission is going to be there. We've seen Oliveira submitted 3 times. And Sabatta, I was watching tape on him. He has a very, very sneakily good ground game. BJJ black belt, he takes the back very nice. And if he takes the back of Oliveira, I think he's going to get a submission. So 7,500 on a card with not too many underdogs. I don't hate a shot at 7,500 there. And then, as for Oliveira, 8,700, I don't hate it because I do think there could be a knockout chance there. And this is like one of those sneaky fights that I think can score high, or this is like a fight that's going to bust. If Oliveira does not get the finish in the first round, he's going to bust 100%. He doesn't throw much at all. Oliveira is also someone who goes for takedowns. He lands like 3 takedowns for 50 minutes. Hopefully he does that there, because if he does, I do favor Sabatta's ground game quite a bit. But other than that, not interested from a betting perspective. Wouldn't really touch this either way. I think it's going to be a very close fight, but I do think the value is on Sabatta there. Let's see here. Alex Cowboy has a lot of troubles outside the ring, kidnapping, weapons possession. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on with him. He has like 10 kids, I heard, as well. Got Jai Herbert inside the distance at plus 430. Yeah, Herbert inside the distance is a tough bet, but I could see it. He has a lot of power, and Trinaldo has never been finished by strikes. Liking Cowboy round one here. I think he's very live in that first round to get a knockout, so that's why we'll be playing both sides. But if Sabatta can survive that first round, really grind out Oliveira, get a takedown, I think Sabatta is very live there. All right, other than that, this fight is probably something you guys are going to want, but don't go too heavy on it. Like I said, it's a sneaky fight to target, but you don't want to have too much of it because it could bust for sure. All right, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fights left. And now we have the people's main event here, the fight everybody's looking forward to, especially me. Like this fight, watching tape on this fight was probably the most fun I've had taping a fight in some time, because we have 2 very low-level guys, but 2 very exciting fighters. And this is where my third piece of the parlay comes in. So the third piece of my 3-leg parlay, like I said, I have Aspinall minus 265. I have the Chemiya minus 565. Fight does not go to decision. And the third leg of my parlay here, I have the minus 425. Fight does not go to decision on Paul Craig and Antagoulov. And that's plus 100 right there. So I do like that parlay quite a bit. The only thing I'm really worried about is, maybe Chemiya grinds on McKee, doesn't try to get the finish. But then again, I think that I'll be fine. But plus 100, I don't hate that at all. I put 2 units on that. Just take a look at some stats here. So Paul Craig has finished 100% of his fights, 100% of his wins. Antagoulov has finished 95% of his wins. That decision was against a very low-level opponent outside of the UFC. And the thing is, Antagoulov has not been out of the first round in the UFC. I don't think he's been out of the first round in the last 6 years, something like that. And, watching tape on Antagoulov, I've seen him gas out in the first 3-4 minutes of the fight. And I don't think he has the cardio to really get off the stool in the second round. But this is a fight you're going to want on DraftKings 100%. Probably not 100% owned, but this is a fight you're going to want to have. This is probably going to be my highest owned fight besides the main event, because it's right in that 8,000, 8,200 range. And I don't see how this fight does not pay off. Paul Craig, I think if he can survive that early first 2-3 minutes against Antagoulov, I think he's going to win the fight. And if you guys saw the weigh-ins, if you guys saw the face-offs, Craig has a pretty decent size advantage, a bigger advantage than I thought. Paul Craig's 6'3", and Antagoulov 5'11", and Paul Craig is a 5.5-inch reach. And Paul Craig is one of those guys where I see improvements on the tape. I see improvements fight by fight. He's someone that almost beat Shogun, almost knocked him out in the first round. I see those improvements, and I can't say the same for Antagoulov. So a decent amount of money is coming in Paul Craig. I will have more money. I will have more ownership on Paul Craig than Antagoulov on DraftKings, but it will be kind of close because I do think Antagoulov can maybe knock out Craig in that first, couple minutes, or even submit Craig in that first couple minutes. But if Craig can survive, I just see Craig probably getting a submission, maybe even getting a knockout. Antagoulov is very chinny. He's been knocked out 4 times. Antagoulov has been submitted twice, and Craig's been knocked out 3 times. Craig's been submitted once. So both these guys are getting finished or doing the finishing themselves. And minus 425, fight doesn't go to decision. I am comfortable with that in a parlay. Like between these two fighters in, I want to say 40-something fights, they've been to decision 2 times total in like 40-something fights. So I'm pretty confident in that for my 3-leg parlay plus 100 there. I wanted to make it as safe as possible and get plus money, which I was able to do. But if I was doing like a 6-leg parlay, which I'm going to have a couple of those, I'm fine with throwing the minus 425 in there. And then I don't know if I mentioned this, but I did bet the under in this fight. I bet the under at minus 120, the under 1.5. I don't think I mentioned that, but I bet the under at minus 125, minus 120. I put 1.5 units on that due to the fact that Antagoulov has not been out of the first round in like 6 years, and I don't think he's the cardio to get out of the first round. And if he does, he's going to be very, very tired in the early second. And I think that's when Paul Craig is going to, really take over the fight and probably knock him out or submit him. And, Paul Craig is someone that's going to come in here and try to finish the fight right away. Both these guys are. And I just think that's a perfect stylistic matchup for this fight to end early. So it's a fight I want on DraftKings. I have some action on this fight, whether it's in the parlay or the under 1.5 at minus 120. I don't know what it is now. I think it's like minus 130 right now, minus 140 right now. So the line has moved a little bit, but still I believe there is some value on that line as well. I'd be very surprised. I'd be extremely surprised if this did go to decision. It's like probably like plus 380 to go to decision, something like that. So I don't really see how this fight does not finish, and it's a fight you're going to win on DraftKings. For sure, Greg and Antagoulov will be on the optimal lineup. I agree 100%. I just honestly am struggling to see how it doesn't there. I like Craig there. What's Craig's record as the favorite? He's been an underdog in pretty much every UFC fight. So he's somebody who, is able to take a beating and come back and get a late submission or get a knockout. 50-50 fight. Yeah, it could be, but I do slightly lean Paul Craig there. I got Craig by submission round 2. I don't hate that at all. I think Antagoulov is going to be very tired if he does make it out of the first round. And I think it's going to be a very high-paced fight in that first round as well. So just don't see his cardio holding up. I've seen him gassed out in the first 3 minutes. So I like that fight a lot. I'm really looking forward to it. The people's main event right there, Paul Craig, Antagoulov. So we're at 48 minutes. Going to skim through a couple of these fights here. Marina Rodriguez, this is another one of my bets here. I have Rodriguez. I got her at minus 160. The line is now minus 175. I like her to win this fight. I put 2.5 units on that. I just think the gap in the striking here is, astronomical. Like Rodriguez is a very good striker. She's a beast on the feet. And the problem we have to worry about is those takedowns. But Esparza hasn't really been going for takedowns as of late. And, I see improvements fight by fight with Rodriguez on her ground game. I see her working for submissions. I see her landing elbows from bottom. And when Esparza does get takedowns, she does nothing with them. And if Rodriguez gets taken down, she's going to work to do stuff and be more active. So even if she does get taken down, the judges are going to see that Rodriguez is landing shots from her back, which she can. She has nice elbows from her back. She's trying to throw up submissions. She's working her way back to her feet. Where Esparza, she doesn't do much whatsoever. And when this stays on the feet, and Esparza has been gaining confidence in her striking, like Rodriguez is going to probably dominate this fight just by throwing more. Looking at the stats here, Rodriguez throws 5.82 significant strikes per minute, and she throws hard. She has good knees in the clinch. Esparza only throws 2.22. She doesn't do much. So I do like that bet. Like I said, I got her at minus 160. She is minus 170. As for a parlay piece, maybe. But I'd rather just play that straight because I thought the line when I bet the minus 160 would close around like minus 180, and I do think it probably could get even wider than that. But got to be realistic, and Esparza does have a path to victory, but I just think Rodriguez is going to, just do more and land the way harder shots. Esparza doesn't have a knockout in like 6 or 7 years. And I do think if there's a finish, it's going to be Rodriguez. And I do think she is, kind of live for a finish as well. Like, it's hard taking a bunch of shots. Like, Esparza is going to take a lot of hard shots. And Esparza has been knocked out twice. So I don't think a finish is out of the question for Rodriguez there. And odds to finish plus 320. Don't hate it. Odds to finish, odds for a KO plus 400 for Rodriguez. I don't hate it. But I do like that straight bet at minus 160. I think I got some decent value there. As for DraftKings, no Esparza for me. Maybe she gets a couple takedowns. Maybe she squeaks out a decision, and then she scores like 80 points. It's not going to be enough on this slate, most likely on a 15-fight slate. Rodriguez I have interested in because of all the volume, and DraftKings, Fight Metric loves counting women's MMA strikes. They count every single one of them. Every strike is a significant strike for women's MMA, it seems like. So yeah, Rodriguez on DraftKings, and I do think she could possibly get a finish as well. Very sneaky finish there, so I like that quite a bit. All right. What would you parlay if you couldn't parlay props? I'll go over some parlay pieces at the end of the video here. Rodriguez on DK, I think it'll be kind of low owned because she is up there in price, but there's not much in the mid 8,000 range. Fight goes to decision, I probably wouldn't touch it due to the fact that I think Rodriguez has a chance to finish. Parlay by decision, I hope not for my bet's sake, but she has a path to victory. I'll say that, but I think she's going to need to do stuff on the ground and get multiple takedowns. I think it could be a close fight, but I just think Rodriguez is going to do more. All right. So keeping it going here. 3 fights left. Alexander Gustafson versus Fabricio Werdum. And this is a spot where I see a lot of people with extremely high confidence in Gustafson, like people parlaying him. I wouldn't do that here. What I wanted to see all week was the weigh-ins with Werdum. I wanted to see what he looked like compared to the Oleinik fight, because in the Oleinik fight, he came out and said it, or at least I heard this. I don't know if it's true, but he came out and said that he hadn't trained for the fight. And on the scales, it looked like he hadn't trained for the fight. But for this fight, it looks like he trained. It looks like he's ready to go. It looks like he lost that flab he had in the Oleinik fight. So lots of question marks from Gustafson here. Coming up to heavyweight, we've seen how that has worked. With light heavyweights coming up to heavyweight, it hasn't worked at all. And Gustafson, someone who just got submitted by Anthony Smith, someone who hasn't won in a long time. And, Werdum's a legit heavyweight, and he looks ready. So I wouldn't parlay Gustafson. Honestly, he should probably win, but I think this fight's going to play out a lot closer than people think. And I see on Twitter that a lot of people are taking some dog shots on Werdum, and I don't hate that whatsoever because we've seen how the light heavyweights coming up to heavyweight have performed, and lots of question marks with Gustafson, like a ton. Like, he retired and came back. It's not a great sign. We've seen how fighters that are retiring or going to retire have performed. Like Joe Duffy was a huge favorite last week, got submitted in that first round. So I would not parlay Gustafson. If I was doing like 6-7 legs, I would leave it out of the parlay. If anything, I would take a shot on Werdum. Werdum by submission plus 625. Werdum by decision plus 650. I am still picking Gustafson to win, but I would just tread very, very lightly here. And on DraftKings 9,300, I don't really love that. I think Werdum's going to be in better shape. In the Oleinik fight, he was tired after that first round, like very, very tired. He looks in shape. He looks like he's been training. And maybe this is his last fight as well. So maybe he has some extra motivation to really go out here and try to get a win. So Gustafson was like minus 365. He's now down to minus 300. I think that can get even closer by fight time. As for DraftKings, don't love the 9,300 for Gustafson. I'd rather play Wood. I'd rather play Chemiya. I'd rather play Aspinall. I'd rather play Shogun. He's probably my 5th or 6th option up there. And then as for Werdum at 6,900, I like that. I like it as a DraftKings play because although I don't really see him getting a finish, maybe he's able to wear up against Gustafson on the cage. And what really made me pick Gustafson is his takedown defense. But that was at light heavyweight. So how is that going to translate to heavyweight here with a bigger fighter and a natural heavyweight in Werdum? Maybe Werdum does get him down, and Gustafson's been submitted twice. And, you know, Werdum is a second-degree black belt, very good BJJ game. So if he does get Gustafson down, a lot of people are going to be holding their breath that have bets on Gustafson, and I just don't want to be one of those guys. So this fight is probably going to play out a lot closer than the line indicates. Honestly, it's probably going to go to decision. So don't mind probably the plus money on fight doesn't go to the fight goes to decision, but it's definitely a pass from a betting perspective. If anything, I'd take a shot on Werdum, and I see a lot of people doing that. Werdum is leaving the UFC after this fight. I think he might want to leave on top. I'm thinking that as well. He looks ready. He looks ready in the face-offs. He looks ready. As long as it stays on the feet, Gus has it. If it goes to the ground, I think he gets tapped out. Very true. So I don't really understand this line here. I have Werdum in most of my lineups. Yeah, there's not much down there, and I think he probably has some of the most upside from the punts down there. I mean, we're going to talk about Lil Nog has some upside, I believe. But other than that, there's not much down there. Gus by Murder, he's the one to destroy Werdum like he did Glover. I don't really see him destroying him, though. I like Gus at lightweight. Yeah, I do too. And he looked decent for heavyweight, but he's obviously, you know, Werdum's the legit heavyweight. Oh, and by the way, 240 people in here. Thank you guys for all watching. If you guys can hit the subscribe button, it really helps me out a lot. I really would like to get 5,000 subs by UFC 252. Going to be doing a couple giveaways on that card. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on that. And also hit the like button. And thank you guys for all your support. Everybody who has signed up on Patreon had about 40 to 50 new members this month. So thank you guys for all that. I'm going to be posting my premium breakdown tonight along with my article. All right. Gus and Werdum goes to decision. Yeah, I don't hate that. I really don't hate that. Subbed. I can see it. I can see it. I don't know. I can see it. The problem is going to be getting Gustafson to the ground. And at first I was like, I don't think that's going to happen, but I don't know. Thank you, Boston Nick. Thank you, Buffalo on the beat. I did Patreon as well. You are the best predictor, I'm sure, man. Thank you for that. Yeah, I wouldn't parlay Gustafson in at all. I mean, you guys could do it, but I think it's going to play out a lot closer than people think. And you know, in all honesty, like Gustafson should win, but yeah, I wouldn't bet this fight. I'd probably just stay away. All right, Werdum did look fit. He looked good compared to a Oleinik fight. He looked like he was not sitting on the couch, and I don't know. Lots of question marks in this fight. All right, so we're going to get to the next fight here. The co-main event, and honestly, not the best fight in the world, but I think it could be kind of fun. This is a fight, I think it's going to be a little bit sneaky to target here. Shogun versus Lil Nog. Obviously, Shogun won those first two fights. I was watching that second fight back, and, you know, Lil Nog hurt Shogun, and Shogun was able to survive and then get his, grappling going, his wrestling going. But as for DraftKings, 7,200. First of all, don't bet this fight at all. Don't bet it either side. Both these guys are very untrustworthy. Shogun looked awful against Paul Craig. Almost got knocked out by Paul Craig. I think Lil Nog's live here in that first round. So at 7,200, I like it as a pump play because he's going to try to come out here, and this is his last fight, and he's going to retire. He came out and said it. And I believe he's the one that called for this fight as well. He's the one that wanted this fight. So kind of wonder where, Shogun's at in this spot. Like, he's already won this fight twice. He's already did it twice. Lil Nog wants some revenge, it looks like. So I think Lil Nog's probably going to be the more, motivated fighter. I mean, I'm sure both these guys are motivated, but, I'm sure, Lil Nog's actually fighting for something here. He wants that revenge. He wants to avenge his losses here. So 7,200, I think this fight is honestly probably either going to end inside the distance or it's going to be the ugliest fight on the card, other than maybe Paul Craig and Antagoulov is going to be ugly. But, minus 245, fight does not go to decision. I probably wouldn't parlay that because I can see a scenario where it does go to decision. And other than that, this is a fight you probably want to have on DraftKings because I can see Lil Nog knocking out Shogun early or Shogun getting Lil Nog out of there late. I question both their gas tanks quite a bit, and especially Lil Nog's gas tank as well. 44 years old. I can't believe he's fighting, but probably stay away from this from a betting perspective here. The line honestly probably should be a little bit closer, but Shogun does have a path to victory getting takedowns. I think he can have no problem getting takedowns. He's shown he can still get takedowns in the Paul Craig fight, but like, look at this. Shogun's been knocked out 4 times. He's been submitted 4 times. Low Nog's been knocked out 4 times. Like, I don't know. I think it's going to finish, but a fight I'm honestly not – I don't know. I'm kind of looking forward to it, but I think it's going to be a very weird fight. Go live every day, please, bro. I mean, that'd be awesome, but I'm very busy all week, especially on this 15-fight slate. Like, it took me – I had to take an extra day of tape study just to get all these fights in. All right. I'll get me some Lil Nog in one lineup. Yeah, don't hate it because I do think he can possibly finish the fight. Belly flop KO. Yeah, maybe that happens for sure. Someone is going to sleep. I can definitely see that. But we're hitting an hour here, so I'm going to quickly get into the main event and then answer any questions, go over my most confident plays, go over some parlay pieces as well. Go over my final bets as well. And this is my last bet of the card, and I have 2.5 units on Whittaker at -120. And a lot of people are probably going to disagree with me, but I think Whittaker's the better fighter overall. I think he throws more volume. I think he has a lot more to offer. Like, look at this. Like, the strikes landed per minute, Whittaker 4.82 compared to Till's 2.41 landed. He doubled that. He doubles his strikes landed. He is going to throw a ton more than Till. And the only thing I'm worried about, and that's why the line's so close. First of all, the line's so close because of the hype on Till, because of, Whittaker got knocked out by Adesanya's last fight. Durability is a question as well, but the line is so close because Till is capable of getting a knockout. And if you're betting Till, you might as well bet him at +255 by knockout. I don't really see a path to victory where Till wins a decision unless he knocks down Whittaker. But it's really hard to see him winning a decision against Whittaker, someone who's very active, someone who is the better striker. I think, Till is very basic on the feet, and, Whittaker is just going to do more and possibly even get a finish on Till. But of course, the question mark is Whittaker's durability. What is it? Right now, lots of recency bias. He got knocked down by Adesanya in that first round towards the end of the bell, and then he got knocked out in that second round. But I rewatched that fight, and it played out a lot different than I thought it did. Like, Whittaker was having some success, and he really had to dart in and try to close the distance on Adesanya, and that's really something you shouldn't do against Adesanya. I mean, it's probably what you got to do to beat him, but, Adesanya is pretty happy with, moving backward and counter-punching. But I just think Whittaker is going to do more here, and ask for DraftKings, 8,300. I'm going to have more Whittaker than Till, but, it'd be not smart to have no Till as well because he could get a knockout. And I'll tell you guys right now, if this fight gets out of the third round until wins a decision, or if Till gets a fourth or fifth round knockout, he's not going to hit value. This does not throw much whatsoever. So probably more Whittaker. I think Till is, mostly reliant on that KO in this win, in my opinion. And for, to break the slate, Till is reliant on the knockout there. So give me Whittaker. Third round KO by Whittaker. I like it. If Rob doesn't break every bone in his body again, he should have more output. Whittaker by murder. I have Whittaker in my lineups. I'm taking Till by KO after a lot of back and forth, I might add. Till is going to get his legs kicked before getting knocked out. For DraftKings, fade the main event or focus and hope for Whittaker for a finish, because for the DraftKings this week, it might be a bit tricky to find those right underdogs unless you fade the main event. I'm going to have some lineups without the main event there. Till isn't even a finisher. Only 2 finishes in the UFC, one against a lightweight in Cerrone. He seems like a fraud to me, just like Lens. I mean, I'm not as sold on Till as a lot of people are sold on him. He's a fan favorite. So I don't know. Thank you, Not a Robot. Really appreciate the donation there. Whittaker does bad against high-level strikers. He always looks good on the feet when he strikes with grapplers with decent striking like Romero and Jacare. I just don't really think Till's a high-level striker. Betting favorites 13-6 and the UFC headliners this year. Very nice to note there. Till cannot be trusted. You are right there. The under 4.5 is -136. I don't hate that. Other than that, I like Whittaker in this fight. So I'll take the next 10 minutes going over my favorite, my most confident plays, some parlay pieces here, and then my parlay that I have, and then my 5 other bets here. So most confident picks, I want to say Whittaker. I like him to win this fight as long as he does not get knocked out. I'm really confident in that. Gustafson, not confident in that pick. Rodriguez, I'm fairly confident in that. Probably wouldn't throw it in a parlay because I do think it could be a close decision. Craig, not confident in that, but I am confident somebody's going to get finished there. Sabatta, not confident in that. It's going to be a close fight. Chemiya, obviously, is confident as one can be there. Herbert, I like it. I like that underdog play. I got him at plus 150, and he's down to plus 115. I like that. I got some good value there. Dalby, not too confident in that. Aspinall, pretty confident in that play right there. Evilev, I'm fairly confident in it. I do think this fight could play out, closer than line indicates, but I do like Evilev there. Bozer, pretty confident in that as long as he does not get clipped. Kansai, just not confident in that at all. Ameeb, confident in it, and Nathaniel Wood, confident in that as well. So some potential parlay pieces, whether it's if you guys want to parlay props, I think there's some potential to do that. Wouldn't parlay Gustafson. You could parlay Rodriguez. It's just not something I do personally. You can parlay the minus 425 fight does not go to decision with Craig Antagoulov. Like I said, Antagoulov has not been out of the first round in like 6 years or in the UFC. And it combined like 2 times by decision with both these guys in like 40 fights. Chemiya, I'm comfortable. If you're doing like a 10 fighter parlay, you can throw minus 1200 in there. Fight does not go to decision, minus 565. That way, if McKee does, throw up a submission or get a knockout somehow, I think that's very safe. Minus 395 to finish the fight for Chemiya. I don't hate that at all. Dalby, probably wouldn't parlay that because I do think it's going to be a close fight. Aspinall, I like that as a parlay piece. I have it myself. Evilev, I probably wouldn't parlay that because I do think this fight's going to play out close. But Bozer, I don't mind parlaying that. Just be aware of that first round there. And then Ameeb, don't mind parlaying that. And also take a look at the minus 165 for Ameeb by decision. That's a decent straight bet option there as well. I might take a look at that. And then don't mind a parlay on Wood as well. So give you guys a little bit of idea of what I'm looking at for my parlay. I'm probably going to do like a 6-7 leg parlay. It's not going to be tracked. Throw like $50 on it to win like maybe 500, maybe a little bit more than that. But I'm going to be going over my bets now. I have 2.5 units on Robert Whittaker, minus 120. The line is now minus 130. I have 2.5 units on Marina Rodriguez at minus 160. The line is now minus 175. I have 2 units on Craig Antagoulov at minus 120, the under 1.5. Don't hate that. And then I have Aspinall inside the distance at minus 115. I have 1.5 units on that. Might add a little bit more on that. And then I have Herbert 1.5 units plus 150 there. And then as for my parlay, I have Aspinall inside the distance I have Aspinall straight at minus 265 is the first leg. I have the Chemiya and McKee fight. Fight does not go to decision, minus 565. That in the second leg there. And then I have the Craig Antagoulov minus 425. Fight does not go to decision. I'm not sure if any of that's changed. I just made the bet before the video, but that's plus 100, and I think that's safe. And I'm a type of guy, like I said, I want to do the safest bets possible, especially when I'm tracking them. All right. So I will be posting all my bets tomorrow on Twitter, as always. Make sure you guys follow me on Twitter, DFS_numbers. Come hang out, talk some fights. Other than that, I will take the next couple minutes to answer some final questions. All right. So risk parlay, Kansai by KO. I'd probably I wouldn't. I don't like Kansai by KO there, but I mean, it's worth a try, I guess, if you get the right odds. What's the Herbert straight bet? I got him at plus 150 at 1.5 units there. Chemiya eats bad pork. Won't make it out of the first round. Crossing fingers. I think he'll be fine there. Do you watch boxing as well? Sometimes, depends on the event there. Thank you, Will. I really appreciate that. Stevie versus DC, early thoughts. First of all, I am very excited for that card. It's going to be an amazing card there. I don't know. I'm leading Stipe just because of how kind of out of shape DC looked in that fight, and DC is really reliant on that knockout. And I do think probably the same thing's going to happen in this fight. Stipe taking over late. But I don't know. I want to see DC on the scale before I really put any money on that fight. I did not bet either in that fight. I thought it was going to be pretty close, but my pick was actually Ferguson. Gaethje looked amazing there. Whittaker to finish is plus 187. Good money here. I like that. Yeah, that honestly is probably a little too much. I think I'm going to have like 20 to 25%, and even that is probably pushing it there. Thank you, Brandon. Good luck on your bets as well. Your thoughts on a parlay with Whittaker till what? I wouldn't parlay the same fighters on the fight there. All right. Other than that, guys, if you guys don't have many more questions, probably I'd say Ameeb. I think Ameeb has probably more of a lock there. But other than that, thank you guys for watching and sticking with me through this live stream. An hour and 10 minutes, not bad at all. Make sure you guys hit the like button. Also subscribe if you haven't yet. We'd really like to hit 5,000 subscribers, like I said. Thank you guys for all the support. Everybody who subscribes to me, everybody who supports me on Patreon as well. It means a lot. And I'm ready to win some money. Lots of action on this card. 6 bets for me. I'm going to make a couple parlays, throw some money on there as well. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to this card. It is a favorite heavy card, but you can find your spots. And I like the spots I have right now. I'm really looking forward to winning some money. All right. I got you. Okay. Let's get it, Scott. Thank you, Cody. Good luck. Thank you, Jeff. 5 dimes. But other than that, guys, thank you guys, and let's get it.